It's 10:30 p.m. on a Sunday. You're sitting at your kitchen table with a laptop open, surrounded by bills. You're doing that mental gymnastics routine again, trying to figure out if you can transfer money from savings to checking without feeling sick about it. Rent is due Tuesday. The credit card bill is higher than you remembered. Meanwhile, you open Instagram. There's your friend from college. Same major, same starting salary back in the day. But they're posting stories from a weekend trip to Napa, wine tasting, nice hotel, no stress. You make the same money. You live in the same city. So why does it feel like they're playing life on easy mode and you're on hard mode? Is it luck? Is it an inheritance? Are they maxing out credit cards they'll default on in 5 years? My name is Mr. Money Advisor, and the answer is going to frustrate you because it's none of those things. They made one invisible decision 3 years ago. They set up an automatic transfer, spent 15 minutes configuring it, and then never thought about it again. That decision is currently worth $22,000. In 30 years, it will be worth over $1 million. And the cost of that decision, it's roughly what you spent on takeout and unused subscriptions last month. If you're tired of feeling like you're running on a treadmill while everyone else is moving forward, hit subscribe. Because today, we're exposing the math that separates the wealthy from the worried. Let's look at two people. Let's call them Sam and Taylor. Sam is 25, makes $70,000 a year, drives a reliable 5-year-old sedan. Every month, $600 goes automatically into a low-cost index fund. Taylor is 25, makes $70,000 a year, drives a brand new luxury SUV with a $750 monthly payment, invests whatever is left over at the end of the month, usually zero. Both feel fine today. Both can pay rent. But let's fast forward the tape. At age 35, Sam has $115,000 invested. Taylor has $12,000 in savings. At age 45, the gap becomes a canyon. Sam has $480,000. Taylor has $85,000 and a car payment that just got higher because they upgraded again. At age 55, gravity takes over. Sam crosses the $1.3 million mark. Taylor has $200,000 and just realized Social Security won't cover their current lifestyle. At age 65, Sam retires at 60 actually. Taylor is working part-time at 67 because the math didn't work out. Same income, same starting line. One chose assets, the other chose liabilities. So, what did Sam do? They invested $500 every single month into an S&P 500 index fund, automatically, on payday. Then, they did the hardest part. They ignored it. You're probably thinking, Nick, $500 a month is impossible for me. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You have the money. You're just renting a lifestyle instead of owning your future. The average household spends $300 a month on streaming services they don't watch. They spend $300 a month on food delivery because cooking feels like too much effort. That's $600 right there. But let's talk about the real cost. That $300 on DoorDash isn't just $300. If you invested it at 10% returns for 30 years, that's $680,000. You aren't buying lunch. You're buying a piece of your retirement. Every time you swipe that card, you're trading future freedom for present convenience. Let's look at the raw numbers. If you invest $500 a month for 40 years in the S&P 500, total contributed by you, $240,000. Total value at the end, $3.16 million. Where did the extra $2.92 million come from? That's compound interest. That's your money having babies, and those babies having babies. Here's the kicker. The first $100,000 takes about 10 years of discipline. It feels slow. It feels boring. But going from $1 million to $2 million, that takes less than 7 years. Once the snowball gets big enough, you don't have to push it anymore. It pushes itself. Consider this. Investor A puts in $5,000 a year from age 25 to 35, then stops completely. Total invested, $50,000. Investor B waits until 35, puts in $5,000 a year until 65. Total invested, $150,000. Who wins? Investor A ends up with $787,000. Investor B ends up with $611,000. The person who invested less money but started earlier beats the person who tried to catch up later. Time is more valuable than capital. I can hear the objections already. What if the market crashes? What if we go into a depression? This is the fear that keeps 46% of Americans with zero retirement savings. Let's kill this fear with history. Since 1926, the S&P 500 has averaged about 10% annually. This includes the Great Depression, World War II, the 1970s inflation crisis, dot-com bubble, 2008, the pandemic. Through every single catastrophe, the average remains. Here is the statistic that matters. The S&P 500 has never had a negative return over any 20-year period. If you can leave your money alone for 2 decades, you have historically always made money. And if you're buying every month, crash is a sale. Your $500 buys more shares when prices are low. When the market recovers, those cheap shares explode in value. Data from JP Morgan shows that if you missed just the 10 best trading days over 20 years, your returns get cut in half. Most of those best days happen right after the worst days. If you panic sell during a crash, you miss the recovery. You lock in the loss. Market survived the end of the world multiple times. It will survive your anxiety. So why don't people do this? It's not because they're stupid. It's because of biology. Your brain was built for the savannah, not the stock market. It suffers from present bias. It values $500 today way more than $50,000 in 40 years. It suffers from loss aversion. Losing $100 hurts twice as much as gaining $100 feels good. This is why people check their apps during a dip and sell at the bottom. And then there's lifestyle inflation. You get a raise? You buy a nicer car. You get a bonus. You upgrade the apartment. 78% of people say they'll save their raise. Almost none do. The financial industry loves this. They make money on fees, on trades, on interest payments, on your car loan. They do not make money when you buy one index fund and leave it alone for 40 years. That's why the solution sounds too simple. They want you to trade. They want you to worry. Think this is only for tech CEOs. Meet Ronald Reed. He was a janitor and gas station attendant in Vermont. Never made more than $20,000 a year. Drove a rusty Toyota. Wore clothes held together with safety pins. When he died at 92, he left $8 million. He gave $4.8 million to a hospital, $1.2 million to a library. His coworkers thought he was cheap. Turns out he was wealthy. He just bought dividend stocks every week for 70 years and never sold. Or Grace Groner. She bought $180 worth of stock in 1935. She reinvested the dividends. She never sold. When she died at 100, that $180 was worth $7.2 million. You don't need a high income. You need time and consistency. One last thing. Stealing your money. Fees. If you invest in a high-fee mutual fund with a 1% expense ratio, you lose roughly $200,000 over 30 years compared to a low-cost index fund. That's $250,000 paid to a manager who likely won't beat the market anyway. Stick to the cheap stuff. Fidelity FXAIX, 0.015%. Vanguard VOO, 0.03%. Schwwab SWPPX, 0.02%. They all do the same thing. They track the top 500 companies in America. They cost pennies. Here's exactly what you need to do. Not tomorrow, today. Open a Roth IRA, Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. It takes 15 minutes online. Link your bank. Buy one fund. Pick one of the tickers I just mentioned. Automate it. Set up $500 or whatever you can afford to transfer on payday. Delete the app, or at least stop checking it. Let it grow in the dark.